Look who's walked in the door. Mark Devine, Navy SEAL. He could pull your heart out with his hand. Just like that.
Yeah.
That's right. You know, I have to say.
There we go.
After watching all of I watched American Sniper. I watched Stripes. Two distinctly different movies.
But military.
But Mark falls somewhere in the middle. I can tell you this. Of course, Mark Devine was ranked the #1 trainee of his. They call it a BUDS class. What does BUDS stand for?
Basic Underwater Demolition SEAL Training.
Okay, so blowing crap up underwater. Basic underwater demolition.
That's
SEAL
hard
training.
to get a lighter going.
He was a #1 in his class of almost 200 people. 9 years active duty, 11 years as a reserve SEAL. He retired as a commander.
And now he does pool demolitions.
No, he does. It's really interesting how that whole thing works. He launched U.S. Tactical. He became, which became SEAL Fit. He also, by the way, launched Coronado Brewery here in San Diego. He was a micro brewer.
Speaking of beer,
but what's interesting is he has a business called SEAL Fit. And the Unbeatable Mind series, which is an online training, I should say, program that you can subscribe to. He also has 8 weeks to SEAL Fit, which is an online training program, physical training program. But what's really interesting about this is, of all that cool stuff you did as a SEAL, you turned it into you turned all of those metrics into your advantage in business, which I don't think anybody probably ever thought of before you.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I mean, how did you link the two? Because you had very specialized training, and none of it had to do with the boardroom. By the time you got out.
Most people don't know this, but I was actually a CPA before I became a SEAL.
Oh, what a geek.
Were you really?
I was a total geek. I was a complete misfit as a CPA.
Yeah.
I did not belong there.
Wow.
I lasted 4 years. It kicked my ass.
What was harder?
So then I became a
SEAL.
SEAL.
What was harder?
I would rather go back
CPA?
to SEAL training than pass the CPA exam.
But how did you link the two together?
Well, you know, when I got off active duty, so I spent about half my reserve SEAL career on active duty. When I got off active duty, I just could not imagine myself going back into a big corporate environment and putting the suit on and doing all that. So I said, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to, SEALs are very entrepreneurial, right?
Yeah.
They operate with a lot of leeway, a lot of latitude to make decisions. The big
just
navies up there, it's different.
You know what's interesting? You say that. I never realized. So remember, Eric Basu, who runs Centec Global.
Eric was a teammate of mine. Good.
No kidding.
Oh yeah.
Eric is our cybersecurity expert right here in studio, and he's also producing a show for Biz Television, U2 America, called Cyber Nation: The Art of War, which takes all the. They went and hacked a Buick the other day.
Nice.
They hacked into the computer of a Lexus or something and made it drive. And our guys filmed it. But I started realizing we do have a lot of SEAL sort of guys here. So you guys are entrepreneurial.
Very much so.
What can you bring to the rest of us who are too scared to do that stuff that you did, but are not too scared to be in business? Is it what's the link?
There's a few of them. One of the key links is fearlessness.
Okay.
Right? Being able to just really run toward, we call it running toward the sound of gunfire.
Do people make their own fear?
I think it's a way you manage your mind. People get fearful about things. They don't need to get fearful of things. They blow things out of proportion. They pause and they wait for perfect information before they move. And the SEALs learn to move quickly, and they learn to operate without perfect information in kind of murky, chaotic environment. Yeah. And the business world looks a lot like that.
Well, in the boardroom, that would be called paralysis by analysis,
Absolutely
right? You're letting stuff pass you by because you're too busy trying to get it perfect.
Or worse, it's groupthink. Waiting for everyone to agree.
That'll never happen.
Yeah, that's a lot of big corporations.
You know what happened here last time that happened? And we haven't seen her since.
Yeah.
That was it. You know what? I saw some black hefty bags and a Lincoln Continental.
Nothing happened there, and it was midnight. And
but that's the thing I can't stand when you can't
can't pull the trigger.
There's either too many cooks in the kitchen,
right,
or there's not one in the kitchen,
right.
I mean, I think those are the two outcomes.
The way the SEALs do it is there's always someone in charge, and he's got he makes the call.
Wow.
But he gets input from all the guys, and especially from people and from sources that you don't expect input to come from. Like some of our best ideas come from either the most junior guy or from outside us. So we're always scanning the environment, sucking information in. But when it's time to go, you make the call and you go, and you have like an 80% solution. You're like, okay, I don't have a perfect plan, but let's go. And then you just kind of ratchet the plan closer and closer to victory.
It's like a suggestion box, and maybe the custodian put the good one in that the corporate guy said, "Why didn't we? Why isn't our logo blue?
So let's
blue water.
So let's bring that to the next level, though. Let's bring that to the next level. So we've decided to take this step. We've gotten rid of paralysis by analysis. We're going to make that business decision. But failure is an option, isn't it?
We used to say failure is not an option, and people thought it's because we didn't fail, and that was completely, it was upside down. We were tricking them. The honest answer is we fail all the time. We don't lose the mission, though. We just fail our way towards success.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so we're not afraid of pushing the envelope. We're not afraid of taking those risks.
Yeah.
We're not afraid of what's going to happen to our career. Our bosses provided some top covers because they know that as a SEAL, you got to push the envelope. You got to try new things. You're going to trip and fall. No plan survives contact with the enemy.
Right.
So you just fail forward fast until you get to victory.
So, and fail fast is kind of a metric that that's about recognizing what's going downhill fast and then course correcting very quickly, right?
Definitely, yeah.
And in business, you've had to do that yourself. Obviously. Look, let's face it. One of the toughest businesses that you've been in is this SEAL Fit business where you're actually training people.
Right.
Because that's a dynamic where you have really no control in the very beginning. Who's going to show up? Who's not going to show up? When we come back, we're going to talk about that. Also, Mark has KISS planning, and Russ is going to be on that side with Mark afterwards. It's going to be a little weird.
What?
But we're going to have a little boardroom.
Come on over here.
Here's the workout.
Little SEAL sesh coming in with Russ. And by the way, coming this summer, Rusty Nails.
What? Just go to break.
15 minutes to SEAL Fit.
I'm ready, though. I'm ready. I'm so ready.
You're born broke and you die broke. They're trying not to take the in-between part too seriously. It's Sully and Russ on the Big Biz Show.
Big Biz Show, bigbizshow.com. Good to have you along today. Mark Devine, founder and CEO of SealFit, SealFit.com. Mark, if I'm not mistaken, you also founded NavySeals.com.
Yeah, I still.
Did you stay at midnight? The day that websites were available? And
Wow,
that's 11:59. You keep on hitting enter.
No, I didn't. I registered that domain in '96.
Which is about the day that
$35.
That's when the web started.
And nobody had nailed it yet.
No, and I kind of wish.
Not
I
even
It's like one of those
Navy
things.
SEALs?
It's like one of those things where websites are going on sale at midnight tonight, and you have and he's like hitting enter.
A lot of people did
right
that.
up to the point.
Yeah.
Wow.
No one had thought about it.
Now, does that redirect somewhere, or is NavySeals.com a website?
NavySeals.com is a website. It's really about information, and we support recruiting for the SEAls. I mean, I'd love to sell it to the Navy, but they've never offered me any money for it.
I bet they'd buy it.
Yeah.
Russ, go broker that deal.
I'll tell you what. First thing we do,
you guys can help me out with that.
We take the website and we paint it gray. They'll love it.
Because everything's gray.
I can't remember
like
the last time I
and the
painted a
grass.
website. That was a long time ago.
So a couple of things that we were talking about. First of all, the failure is not an option issue, but also sort of when you made the transition from being a Navy SEAL into going into business, a big piece of that you have to realize is knowing that every metric you learned in Navy SEAL land is not going to apply to business, but which ones to cherry pick out of there? How difficult was that to do?
Well, there were a couple things that I took for granted that really tripped me up. One was in the SEAL teams, I could trust implicitly everybody I was working with.
Oh boy, yeah. There's the one you got to throw out the window immediately.
I went into my first business with that level of trust.
Have you ever taken a board member and actually waterboarded them just right in the end of the meeting?
I've had a few I wanted to try that on.
But the point is, though, think about that, though. Think about the fact that that you have no question, because that's all what the training's about.
Right.
The training's about to where that the guy behind you there's not a chance
got
in hell
your back. Yeah.
And you go into business and you have to automatically say, you have to assume nobody has your back.
Pretty much.
I mean,
you
almost
learned
have
that
to
the hard way.
relearn how to ride a bike, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
That's interesting. Talk about KISS planning. What does that mean? Because Russ, I know, is all giddy about that.
I'll be over here getting all ready.
Come on over here, Russ.
What is KISS planning?
Well, it's keep it simple.
Yeah.
Sally, or stupid.
Stupid, Sully.
Yeah.
Sully.
Keep it simple, Sully.
That's the original.
The entire SEAL Fit's going to change their whole moniker. Keep it simple, Sully.
I like that.
Okay.
So bottom line is what it means is, you can get all elaborate with your planning, but, the best plans are the simplest plans because you can really wrap your head around them and you have a lot of flexibility in there. And so we relied a lot on standard operating procedures, and we would then plan only those things that could lead to we call them critical nodes. We plan the critical nodes in detail, and we have contingency plans for when those go wrong. but then we allowed a lot of flexibility for everything in between. And a critical node is where if it fails, the whole mission cascades to failure.
Oh, the big one, yeah.
The big, like inserting the helicopter.
The broken glass theory.
Yeah, pretty much. If you insert the guys in the wrong place or right in the middle of the hornet's nest, you know, you got to have plans for that.
You said South Korea?
Oh, sorry.
Wrong place. So we planned that one pretty well, but then we assume that the guys are going to know how to kick in the door and get the bad guys. So we need to go to some detail in those, obviously.
Mark, before you get out of here, let's hold up your books. 8 Weeks to SEAL Fit. Those are available.
This is a workout in itself, just lifting all these damn
And the Unbeatable Mind. And then what is that last one called? What's the last one?
The Way of the SEAL.
The Way of the SEAL. Is that more of a
That's the
book?
leadership book.
That's a leadership book.
That's the leadership book.
All right, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll be reading on that. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll put these up on the website, bigbizshow.com. We'll also put them out on Twitter, but you can also easily go to sealfit.com, pick up, and available at all major booksellers, Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com, Yahoo.com, and such. Mark, thanks so much. I appreciate you coming as usual.
Thank you, guys.
Mark Divine, Navy SEAL, sealfit.com, and Russ is always shaking like...
just looking at the book, Monday's workout, and some swings, a couple of pull-ups, some burpees. I can do burpees. Hold on. I can do a couple burpees right here. What's going on?